All right, welcome to the Side Action, episode 18 of season 6. My name is Jim Weglers, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspo on Twitter and on Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on Twitter at Mr. Grumpy Gills. As he mentioned, we are the Side Action Podcast. We are a year older and a year wiser, wouldn't you say?
Some of us.
Yeah, some of us.
50 years old. 50 years young, as they say. I don't know. Looking some days a little straggly, but I'm making it through. Had a big celebration yesterday with the family. Saw Aquaman.
Okay.
I barely can hear out of my ears right now. It is so loud in that Dolby experience. I've done it
nice.
yet.
Okay.
The AMC. It's kind of cool, except it reverberates the chairs and stuff. It is so loud. And I'm not just saying it as an old man. Like everybody who went was like, "Wow, that's loud." And then we went to Russian Tea Time, which is it's a must. If you haven't gone, very good food.
Okay.
You don't have to do the tea service, but that's kind of what they're known for in the mid-afternoon.
Nice.
We went for the dinner. Food's exquisite. They have vodka flights as well. Delicious.
Okay.
So we had a good time. And but how was your Christmas?
Is that comparable to the shot ski, by the way? Is that like the...
Well, you could do 3 at the same time, but the idea is you do 1 at a time. Like you've got a flight of beers,
right.
tasting.
Yeah.
Kind of like tastings, but just shots of
tastings.
Of vodka there.
Okay. But it was good, yeah.
It was.
I mean,
tea.
that would be.
I had a tea, I had a ginger, and I had a coriander. I think the tea is still the best one.
Okay.
Yeah, you can also they have the spicy ones too. There's like a jalapeno and a little peppery one.
You're not
or just regular.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I would probably stay away. My insides don't like me enough as it is. But no, we had a good Christmas. I obviously went back to Ohio.
Okay.
I exchanged cars, so I sold my other car.
Yeah,
that was,
you said exchanging cars.
That was
with Christmas.
Yeah, that was just a debacle. But no, I just didn't need it anymore. Obviously, living in the kind of the city.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
That's always a debacle. Anyway, we did the
so
Cooper Christmas.
No,
we have a. Oh no, we have a car now. We've got a smaller Civic. We went from a RAV4 to a Civic.
There you go.
So, but we gotta have a car payment to owning a car. So it's better situation. At the fork out money.
Yeah, I like it.
We did the Cooper Christmas. That was fun.
What about the bowling? Didn't you do a tournament?
Yeah, we did that Sunday. So Saturday was Cooper Christmas.
Cooper Christmas Saturday.
So and then Sunday was the no tap debacle. Yeah, it was tough. Nobody bowled really that well. We got a bad draw, in my opinion.
You went for it.
It was a good time. Got to get all the fam bowled together. So that was the camaraderie was what was the highlight of that day for sure.
Of course.
And then obviously we went out after that. We went to TJ Chum's. Somebody in the establishment was a Packers fan, was talking trash about Justin Fields, and Stephanie didn't particularly care for that kind of slander. Yeah.
Talk, huh?
So that was kind of funny. She started kind of getting all riled up like she does. And of course you have my mother there, and she's very similar, it was the bullish style, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah. So mother goes, "You want to take this outside?" And there was like 3 or 4 people. It turned around. It was really funny.
Wow.
Luckily nobody was hurt in the making of that film. So that was good.
And it wasn't caught on video.
No, I guess I should have been recording, but I was too busy laughing and trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Nothing like Christmas. It was Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that was Christmas Eve. Nice. So that was fun.
Christmas spirit.
Yeah, that was a good time. And then obviously we had Christmas, and then on my way back Tuesday afternoon. I was looking all over Google before I left, but I was on I-6 or I-65 North.
Okay.
I just stopped and gotten gas, and I can't remember the city, but I was like maybe 2 hours away from Chicago. It was northern part of Indiana.
Yeah, like Cherville or something.
Yeah, and I think I was Lafayette was about maybe 30 minutes north of that, give or take. So I got off and got gas, and I got back on the highway. Well, when I got off and got gas and was pumping, filling the car or whatever, there was a one random police officer just goes flying by, just like hauling the mail. And then got on the highway. I didn't think anything of it. And then I got back on the highway. They were throwing spike strips across southbound 65. What? There was like 3 or 4 cars. So I kept driving. I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden I looked to my left, and there was like 3 or 4 cop cars that had crashed into this Buick. And like all the cops jumped out, guns drawn, and everything. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
high-speed chase.
Yeah, it was like Grand Theft Auto, literally right across the other side of the highway.
Okay, you're going the other way.
So,
thankfully.
Yeah, I was going northbound instead of southbound. But yeah, that was day after Christmas coming back. That was wild. It was probably like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
A heist. Maybe it was a heist.
I have no idea. I tried looking for Google and everything, and
you keep that out of the papers.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Well, the internet is fast.
Wow. So that's exciting.
But yeah, that's been it's been the week so far. Work's been pretty chill. So it's a nice little in-between week that everybody. It should be mandated if you're not taking PTO, you shouldn't do shit at work. Like,
I mean, that's pretty much. Don't tell anybody. I mean, I know my boss is listening. Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
do
we
much
are hundreds
this
of
week.
thousands.
I had lunch at Dom's Market with a friend.
Nice.
Sophia showed up. I did some emails today. I emailed
Nice.
some work emails. There you
Okay,
go.
yeah.
I even did a form.
Wow. A form.
Yeah, I got a form completed.
And form. All right.
And that's it. But actually, we. I thought I was going to that. But anyway, there's been some stuff at work that's it's a tough time of the year. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
In real estate. But yeah, for me, like my niece's birthday was Saturday.
Okay.
We went to the old Warsaw. It's a Polish smorgasbord. It's like a all you can eat, buffet kind of situation.
Okay.
Good Pole food.
Hell yeah.
I'm all about the Polish and Eastern European food this week. Apparently.
Is there a favorite dish of yours?
Well, okay. Personally, I'm a potato pancake guy. They were very good. They were fairly crispy. They had pierogies, which is the dumpling.
Yeah.
They didn't have gołąbki that day. That's the cabbage roll.
Okay.
A little disappointed there, but that's okay. So I would say their best dish, probably the pierogies and the potato pancakes were their best efforts. They had some other things that were okay. They had some blintzes. I can go with the blintz. The kapusta, which is the sauerkraut. It wasn't as good as Grandma. I mean, Grandma's not like this, Grandma, fellow cap, she's up in the up in the heavens here. But yeah, so we did get basically the equivalent of the Russian gołąbki yesterday, the cabbage roll.
Gotcha.
At Russian
I need to
tea
get
time.
more diverse in my.
Yeah, we got to get you. We'll take you to
culture.
Red Apple. That's up here on the north side.
Okay.
We'll take you.
Because
That's
I've
a
had
good place.
pierogies before. I've had.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've had the pancake, the potato
Yeah,
pancake.
potato pancake, Lakis, some people go.
Yeah, and I think that's about as far as I've went.
Yeah,
as far
okay.
as I've traveled.
The sausage wasn't bad. I know picked my daughter at the airport. She liked the sausage.
Okay.
She flew for 2 days straight, basically. She made it home. So she's here, thankfully. And then Christmas Eve, we ended up, we went to my aunt and uncle's. You have to sing for a gift. So we had a very huge spread of food. You have to sing a Christmas carol. You might have saw that. Me and my daughter singing a little bit last Christmas, the old Wham hits from the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I also got roped into singing another song with a gentleman.
Did you get another gift for that?
I did not.
Oh.
I did not. I did double duty just because you know me. I'm going to be participating. Somebody wants me to be their duet partner. I'll be there. But yeah, I guess he'd be my cousin-in-law. I got him up there. It was pretty good. We did okay. I didn't know all the words to that song.
Rising tide, raises all boats.
Absolutely. You know what they're for. And then Christmas Day, back at my bro's, just got his little breakfast at his place. Then we saw the Wonka movie, which pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some debates over certain characters like the Oompa Loompa. Other than that, we had a nice time, and we went to Simon's. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been to Simon's yet.
No.
If you haven't, we'll go. It's the third oldest bar in Chicago. It's in Andersonville. It's a Swedish bar, cash only, great place. They serve glug. I think we talked about glug.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Spice wine. We had a couple glugs, so rounded out the full week. So now we're into the next, and now we're ready for New Year's. We'll talk about later. So let's get into some stuff here. We got to
get to the negative.
Nobody cares about that apparently. So let's talk about. You've got a few people in the shed. I like your number one. So I'll let you go first. Who are you taking to the shed? The shed's getting pretty big. You've got a pretty big grouping here.
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
You think it's Wilson versus Denver? Okay.
He's getting taken to the shed. No, I think Denver's going to be okay. I almost think next year they might be viable. Like if they, depending on how well Jared Stidham plays.
Sure.
I think they're going to trade a defensive piece. I would assume it's going to be the corner. Help me out here.
The junior.
He's a really good corner for the Broncos.
Yeah.
No, it's not Chris Harris. It's
not Chris Harris, but the other guy.
Man, why am I drawing a blank on this?
He'll come to you.
Yes, but then I figured they'll trade him. Maybe San Fran's going to need a corner, and they're going to have 32nd or 31st or whatever pick they get. So, but no, Russell Wilson's out. Jared Stidham in. Probably the worst contract ever.
Well, that's
from an organizational standpoint.
And I'm not refuting your choice. I just think Denver, they laid this bed. So now you're trying to get him to back off at his $37 million injury, basically guarantee. I wouldn't sign it if I were him. Why would I restructure? I mean, what are you doing? I wouldn't do it. I mean, you can say you want him to do it. The thing about it that I don't like, but I've read a lot about it as well, is that they were trying to attempt him to do it during the bye week. So mid-season. Yeah. And then he takes them on a winning streak, which I know you were for him for, MVP. And I'm not just defending Ciara's man here. I just think it's a bunch of BS. The NFL doesn't have guaranteed contracts. You do have this guarantee for the injury thing for this guy, and now you're trying to get him to rewrite it, and then you're basically making him sit because of that. It's just a bunch of bullshit. If he was playing great, they wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
That's probably debatable, but yeah, I would probably agree with that too. But
If
yeah,
they won the last 2 or 3, if they didn't go 1-3, if they were 3-1, you think they'd have that debate? No.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to be the highest cap hit in the league next year. He's not even going to be playing. And then
fault.
the year after that, he's going to be a top 10 cap hit in the league, and he's not even going to be playing there. But yeah, it's tough. It's the rise and fall of Russell Wilson has been real.
It is.
And moving forward, I don't see a lot of landing spots for him.
Maybe of course not. He's 36. I mean, it's not like, well, unless it's pulls a Joe Flacco, but Flacco was never a non-team guy. So
that's fair. We're also going to add Syracuse football. Okay. I don't know if you remember our picks last week. We were on USF big time in the
that was the one.
The BocaRaton.com
highlight of going to the casino last week was we were watching your pick go 45-0.
Yeah, and Syracuse got destroyed. They got beat 45-0. They had 159 total yards, 4 turnovers, and only 9 total first downs the whole game. But Kyle McCord's going to fix all that next year. So
I don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll see. Early Heisman votes. I'm sure it'd be a good number for you, like the plus maybe $1 million, give or take.
Sure.
We're also going to add the Pistons. I don't know if you saw this.
They're not good.
They've been in the shed a couple times, and they're probably going to stay there for the foreseeable future.
27 straight losses.
Oh yeah, NBA record.
It's tough to do.
27 in a row. So the all-time consecutive losses is actually 28 because it was done over 2 seasons. But do you remember who that was done by? So little trivia for you. I didn't put the answer in there for a reason.
2 seasons, huh? That's a tricky one. I would say who's been a doldrum of the league. Let's go with the Phoenix Suns?
Nope, 76ers. You remember
they were tanking?
The process? Yeah, the process. Yeah, during the process, they lost 28 in a row, spanning those 2 seasons. So I'm sure the Pistons might break. I think they play the Celtics tonight, which I think if you're out there looking for some money line, I'm just saying.
Money line, sure. I got to break it sometime.
Obviously, please bet responsibly. That might be the mortgage.com lock of the week.
Let's go to the 401k.
But no, we'll leave that alone. So, and then the last nice little honorable mention here at the end of this, the product here, Jair Alexander. He's suspended this week for a game for conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
So he appointed himself a captain. Literally added himself to the captain's list. Just walked out there. Called the coin toss correctly.
Great.
And then the verbiage is specific in a kickoff. It's like the only part of the, where it's very specific. And he never got the verbiage correctly. And luckily the referee asked him to clarify. They did clarify. They got the ball. Everything was fine, but they actually suspended him for a game when they're getting ready to play Justin Jefferson and arguably the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Because they still need to, they're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, they're in the playoff hunt.
Not to have their all-pro corner on the field because of his motor of the week,
exactly.
award-winning
they don't have
performance.
Hawkinson, but we'll talk about that. Well, that's good segue there. I am picking on the other side for the shed is Nick Mullen, who, look, nobody said he was a great player. Nobody was defending Nick Mullen, but I mean, at the same time, he played good enough in the Bengals game to win. They lost in overtime. In this particular case, man, this is tough. And this is one of our picks in the contest. It was like apparent that Minnesota could do whatever they wanted in that game. They kept moving the ball. But Nick Mullen, 4 interceptions, including like the final one, like a terrible throw. You have 29 seconds. You do not have to throw the ball in the end zone. I get he's trying to force feed Justin Jefferson, but terrible throw at the end. Nick, you're in the shed. You're not only in the shed, you're getting benched. We'll talk about that in a minute. So welcome to the shed. Get back to the bench, like where you belong.
Yeah, you can hang out with Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
Yeah,
those guys.
I'm sure they can pull up and have a good time.
Well, let's go more positive. Let's go Club Dub. I guess I'll go first since you've got a lot of people getting in there. I'm going to start with Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he's been in yet. He's definitely had a good year. We know we've talked about him. He's my MVP, not just because I'm saying that. I've actually bet on him as we talked about early in the season. But look, he showed out. The San Francisco defense. Everybody's talking smack about. Well, I know the Baltimore was pissed off because they were at 1 point 6-point dogs on the road, went down to 5.5. And Lamar played great. Now I know that he's Mr. Escapability. I mean, he did it against Jacksonville, that amazing play where he did a spin and throw. He did the same thing against this really tough San Francisco line. I've heard a lot of garbage about how those guys were home for Christmas and they should never, the home team, bet against the guy who's home for Christmas. But in the end, Lamar came through in this big MVP matchup. And more importantly, they won the game. They're 12-3. Playing very well. They may have a letdown this week, but Lamar Jackson, welcome to Club Dub. Come on into our special section in my section.
Okay. The first floor, if you will.
Yeah, this is the booths. We
Right,
got a
right.
booth for you.
We totally missed on the Steelers last week, and you know why? Because Rudolph was starting, and Rudolph can't lose on Christmas. I don't know.
We can't lose. Oh, that's true.
Right,
Can't lose
like
on
they
Christmas.
started Mason Rudolph. We should have known better. And I as soon as they showed that, like third and fourth quarter,
his second throw was a touchdown.
we should have known better as a podcast. So I just want to take a minute to apologize for that. I totally missed that. But
it's okay.
First person in Club Dub, we're going with the Raiders. The Raiders had a big win on Christmas Day. Beat the Chiefs 20-14. They didn't have to even complete a pass after the first quarter. So that's pretty remarkable.
They only had to score 6 points on offense.
Yeah, but the mood in my household on Christmas was great because of course, you got my mom's a Chiefs fan. Papa Moon is a Chiefs fan, and then Stephanie was in spirit rooting. But it was great. It was a good time. Yeah. Also, we're gonna add Andre Drummond for the Bulls. I don't know if you saw him the other day. He became the first player in the league this year to have over 25 rebounds in a game.
Rebound the ball.
Yeah, they beat Atlanta on Tuesday, I believe.
Okay.
He finished with 24 points, 25 rebounds, 3 steals, and the Bulls are actually right now in the last spot in the play-in game. So they've been playing better as of late. I think they're 6-4 in their last 10. So might have to go catch a game here soon. Another honorable mention here in Club Dub is Amari Cooper.
Yes.
Amari Cooper had 11 catches for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes. Those of you in fantasy, I'm sure, were having just
if you played him, you probably
you were having a field day. You were just so excited. But they had a 36-22 win over Houston. That's also a Browns franchise record for receiving yards in a game. Do you know who held the record previously? Trivia question.
Braylon Edwards.
No. It was Joshua Gordon.
Oh, okay, but he was on the Browns first, Braylon Edwards.
Yeah. Do you know where he went to school? Greatest university.
Braylon?
Yeah, greatest university on the planet.
Where'd you go to school?
Michigan. Went to University of Michigan. Anyway,
is that the greatest university on the planet?
That's what some say. But anyway, we're gonna move on. So, and then the honorable last mention of Club Dub got added this morning. Miller Moss. I don't know if you saw the USC game, but he is the quarterback for USC. He took over obviously for Caleb Williams, who's leaving more than likely. He threw for a school bowl record and holiday bowl record, 6 touchdowns in their 42-28 victory over Louisville. He finished the game, 23 of 33, 372, the 6 touchdowns, and also had an interception.
Is Caleb Williams a system quarterback?
It could be. We should have known better too. That was one of my other favorite picks. I didn't add it to our list, but we should have known better. The coaching mismatch there was very glaring. So, and I think Louisville's quarterback, or was it Florida State's quarterback, was transferring, announced that he was going to enter the portal this week as well.
Is he? Okay.
So look out for that.
He's transferring to USC.
No, I think he's just entering the portal. The quarterback that took over for Travis Hunter, no, not Travis Hunter, the quarterback for Florida State.
Yeah, Jordan
Travis. Yeah. So we'll see what happens down in the ACC. It's getting feisty.
All right, well, let's get into the college bowl games. Got a mixed bag start. Start out good with UCF.
Yeah, we got hosed on
UCF, not so good.
Got hosed.
Yeah, what can you do? James Madison, they could have done better.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
Utah got beat, but you come back now. Kansas took it home, and Oklahoma State. Kansas did cover, right?
Kansas did cover. They won by 13.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma State on the money line, and then also you get the plus money there, or plus 2 points. Yeah. Kansas State is up
winning. 21-7 at halftime.
Looking pretty good right now. So. And 2 of the picks that we thought we might take tomorrow, but there's 2 games tomorrow: Clemson and Memphis. And you like Oregon State, so keep those on your card. Let's talk about some of
Art Murphy.
Art Murphy, right? He's like I said, he's building Club Dub for us somewhere in Oak Park, I guess. Yeah. But let's talk about the big games this week. These are kind of the traditional games that are a little bit bigger on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day and so on. You've got the Cotton Bowl. Obviously, this is a big matchup, but we'll talk about who's playing in this one. So you've got, obviously, Ohio State is playing Missouri in this one. Ohio State's a 3.5-point favorite. I'm guessing as you listed this, do you like Ohio State? Is that what you're saying? Or
no, I just put the spreads up here when we talk about it. But
anyways, McCord is still, even though he entered the portal, is he still playing this game? Okay, so that's kind of important.
They'll have these. I can't remember his name, but they'll have the other quarterback starting. And this line actually opened at Ohio State -0.5. So it's moved quite a bit in the last couple days. It's all the way up to 3.5 now.
Is there people from Missouri?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I haven't really checked into. I like Missouri. I liked Missouri from the first time this matchup was put on paper. Obviously, Missouri's only had 2 losses this year in the SEC. I think they're physical enough to play with this offense. I highly doubt Marvin Harrison's going to play.
No, he won't play.
Regardless if he comes back
It's
or
really
not.
the defense for Ohio State. Are they missing any guys that are not going to play on the defense? Because that, to me, they're driven by their D.
No, their defense is good, but I still don't think it's going to matter. I would definitely take the under, but I can see this it's going to look very similar to the Notre Dame game, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's going to be a 17-13, 14-10 kind of game.
Right.
I like Missouri. I like their run game. I think obviously Ohio State can run the ball well, but I just think it's a bad matchup for them.
Okay. And then you get the Peach Bowl. That's Ole Miss versus Penn State. Penn State's a 4.5-point favorite. Now, we know that against top 10 teams, James Franklin's not so great. Ole Miss is in the top 10. Do you follow that logic, or you like Penn State in this one?
No, I like Ole Miss again.
Wow.
I like Lane Kiffin against.
Going with the dogs here.
Yeah, I like the first two. I do like the dogs. I like Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin's gonna. I think it's a coaching mismatch between him and Franklin. And I don't think Penn State can hang in a shootout.
Right.
We kind of wrote them this year a little bit through our picks, so they won 3 or 4 games for us right
Well,
there in the middle of the season.
Teams,
so,
yeah.
but no, I think a year older. I think maybe next year Penn State might have taken a next step.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Big Ten's going to get way harder, so we're going to see how well that works. But no, I don't miss here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the Orange Bowl. This is Georgia versus Florida State. We know all the, Florida State got jobbed a little bit. Georgia, maybe they got jobbed too. This is like the all job bowl in Orange Bowl, but Georgia's a heavy favorite, 20-point favorite in this one. Boy, I mean, honestly, I'd probably take the points here. You're probably going to go with Georgia, huh?
It's moved from when we did this last week. It's moved another 6.5 points. So it was minus 13.5.
So why has it gone so far?
I think the motivation. Obviously, I think the Louisville losing last night the way they did really
showed that
legitimized.
It
just delegitimizes the ACC, if you
Okay.
will. So obviously, I think it's just quick reaction.
Mhm.
At that number, I would take Florida State at 20. But anything that
Sure.
you could get 16 or lower, I would take Georgia.
Okay, so this one still hasn't set. You probably wait a little bit to see if you get a better number if you like Georgia. Otherwise, take Florida State now.
Yeah.
I guess my thing was just forward. I mean, both teams have an axe to grind.
Well, and Florida State announced they had players and coaches talking today that they were making an argument that if they're the only undefeated team left after the playoff, they should be the national champions.
Right. The old write-in candidate.
We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. But I think Georgia's going to win the football game. That's simple, but just by how many. And then you've got Fiesta Bowl. You've got Liberty versus Oregon. Liberty was the story all year. I'm glad that they're playing in one of the Big Six bowls and all that. But Oregon is a 17-point favorite. Now, does Oregon not have the motivation? Although I think is Bo Nix returning?
I think he's
going to the
I don't know
NFL?
if he's announced actually.
Okay.
I don't think he's. I highly
But is he
doubt,
playing in this game?
I highly doubt he is not going to the draft. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't read too much into that, so I'll have to look into that.
Well, who's your pick for this one?
I love Oregon, regardless of who plays.
Okay.
Even if they just want to line up and run the ball, I think they match up physically. Yeah, they're just a better football team. They're better coached. They're just more physical, and I think even if they don't want to throw the ball, they don't have to. They can just do what Michigan did to Penn State.
Right.
So,
just run them out.
Yeah.
So then the last 2 games are the playoff games, the semifinal games that'll be on New Year's Day, right? They're both New Year's Day?
Yes. Yep.
So you've got the Rose Bowl. That's Michigan versus Alabama. Michigan's a short favorite here. Has it always been that way, or did it move around?
They started -3.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
come down quite a bit. It was
Alabama.
-1 last week. So it's Michigan's got a half a point more this week.
So you don't have to worry about opt-outs in this game. I already can see your picks, but why don't you walk through your handicap on this one?
Yeah, no, I struggle with this one. Part of the fan of me wants to pick Michigan, and the logic of me wants to pick Alabama. Okay. So I'm going with Michigan for the sheer fact that I think Harbaugh at some point is going to leave. If it's not this offseason, it'll be next offseason. I think what's going to happen is he's going to, hopefully in a perfect world, he'd win the national championship, sign like a 1-year deal, transition into a new program, and the next year he goes to the NFL possibly. But I think either way, he wants to win a national championship just because he's the Michigan man, if you will. So I think the mismatch up, I guess, with these 2 teams is the line play.
Okay. Even
though Zach Centers is out, which he's one of the best guards in the country, I still like Michigan's defensive line matching up with Alabama's offensive line. Okay. So it's going to be a low-scoring game, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think J.J. McCarthy will make a mistake or 2.
Yep.
And I'm sure Jalen Milroe will make a mistake or 2. Maybe 24-20. I don't know what the over-under is. I would assume it's somewhere around 45. It's probably close to an NFL game. But I like Michigan maybe by a field goal. Okay. So I like it, but again, I can see people picking Alabama. This one's
Well,
this one's
I
tough.
don't know much about it. I just figure Saban's such a good coach. I mean, but
This is by far
it's
the worst
45 is
matchup.
the total, by the way, 45.
Okay. So
you like the under?
Yeah, I like the under on that one.
And yeah, I mean, this is a tough one. This should be the more competitive game in theory. So I mean, I'll go not against you. I don't know. I probably bet on this game. I haven't got much college all year at all. So, and then the second game is in the Sugar Bowl. This is Texas versus Washington.
Oh yeah.
Texas is a 4-point favorite. Now Washington hasn't gotten any shine. Like nobody thinks they have a chance in this thing. So if you think you want to get any long shot to win the title, you bet on them. Like in terms of their future, because obviously if they're the best number. But tell me why. I know you have Texas. Obviously, you love Texas for a lot of reasons. You've got some money on the line here, but you just think they're the better football team.
Yeah, from an offensive line and defensive line perspective, I've said it a couple times on this podcast all year that they are the best units and best combinations. They're very similar to the Eagles in the NFL. Like they have the best line play. They can take that anywhere. They can run the ball. They can control the pace of the game, which is huge the last couple of years, especially in college. You see Georgia winning national championships hand over fist because of that reason. Alabama going back to their heydays. So, no, I like Texas here. I don't know if I like the number of 4, to be honest. I could see it definitely being a 3-point game, maybe kicking one there at the end, or, it turns into from a 10-point game into a 3-point game kind of situation, backdoor cover. But I think Texas is going to win the game.
Yeah, it's 63.5 total, so it's different from the other one. And what I would say generally is that, to me, the matchup, I don't know that much about these teams, not as much as you, is that can the Texas defense slow down the Washington offense? Because I don't think Washington's defense has any great shakes. So they played good against Oregon, but they knew that team. Right. They're not going to know Texas. So the bottom line is, can the Texas corner stop those receivers? Probably. I too would pick Texas in this game. But obviously, following more your thing, that 63.5, that's a shootout right there.
Yeah,
so
that's a really big number.
I hope it is like that, so we can watch some fun stuff. And so to review, I like Texas over Washington and Alabama over Michigan. I would pick Texas over Alabama in the end, not just to support your buddy. I mean, I think they already beat them once, right? And they're going to be better. So it sounds like you too would take Texas over Michigan in that.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, and I like Texas over Washington and Michigan over Alabama, and then Texas over Michigan. So I just like to maybe we'll throw a future out there, but we already have one. But it's always good just to see if we can predict it. So
it wouldn't change for you Texas over Alabama either, right? If Alabama wins.
I don't know. The revenge factor would be I think it just depends on how well they look against Michigan, because I think Michigan and Texas are very similar from a DNA standpoint. I think they're both built from the up front back, if you will.
With Sarkisian, I mean, there is a lot of knowledge on both sides there. Right?
Yeah,
because he coached under Saban there for a while. Okay. Well, good. Well, let's jump into the NFL now. We've got Week 16 recap. Look, finally, didn't I say this last week? It's going to even out. Home and road teams, 8-8. Favorites versus dogs, 8-8. But what didn't even out was the totals. The overs killed it, 11-5 in this one. What's interesting, I heard a little bit on some of these and stuff that I've been listening to, is in those competitive games where the teams are, when people are all in, in those playoff matchups, points aplenty because they're just pulling out all the stops. So they're not really low-scoring games in those, kind of teams that are fighting for the playoffs. So just keep that in mind if you're going to bet totals in the last couple of weeks here. There were four games this week, which is unheard of usually, that did matter for the spread. So you did have to be on top of it. The spreads are getting tighter. Now, I'm not saying it is over, guys. Light a candle. I talked to Action on Saturday last week when I was driving home from volleyball. And it was like, hey, we were trying to avoid the consensus. So one of the things that Circa does is after the picks are made, they show what were the top 5 most picked games or most picked sides for the contest. We're like, oh, we got to make up some ground. Action's like, let's try to pick, away from the top 5. We did. We successfully did not pick the top 5 picks, but we went 1-4. And more importantly, the top 5 went 5-0. So we are 8.5 back. No. It's just for pride now. We'll pick a couple more times, and that's that. But we ended up going against some of the picks that I thought were good.
I was gonna say we were on the charger. We were agreeing. We were on it.
Dead cat bounce, man.
Yeah.
Which again, we went with it. but we went with Buffalo minus 12.5. They did not cover. They almost didn't win the game.
Yeah, they never.
So the dead cat bounce worked again. It's just like yo-yo, just works for it. So in this game, the Chargers played really well. They were, they look good actually for once playing for the new coach. They lost 24-22. Of course, on the flip side, I think this, if I'm not mistaken, no, this wasn't one of the top picks, but we were going with the heavy favorites in all the matchups, which did not work out as well. No. But what can you do? I already mentioned the Minnesota game. Those 4 interceptions killed you. They lost 30-24 with the ball inside the 20. Again, throwing that ball. But the Bears, they came in.
Yeah.
They played well. They made it happen 27-16 against Arizona. They kind of bottled up Kyler Murray enough. And Fields looked pretty good. And then we went with 2 more heavy favorites with the Chiefs. You already mentioned them. They looked terrible and really lost the game in 7 seconds. I mean, those 2 plays, the one where they snapped the ball, I don't know, to Pacheco was a terrible snap, and then that gets to be a touchdown for the Raiders. And then very next offensive play was Mahomes throwing a pick 6, and that's all they needed. Yeah. So Kansas City did not come in. And lastly, the Eagles, they were teetering like almost going to cover in this game, but that 12.5 was a big number. In the end, they won 33-25, but they didn't cover the number. So we did not do too well this week, Coop. So looks like you're doing quite well now. You're turning around.
We're coming back to life.
Yeah, so you got Washington plus the 3. By the way, this is the I know you didn't put the 401k on it, but this would have been my Atlanta game of the week. I mean, they were down 27-7 in this game, and
they had them right where they wanted.
Right where they want. Put in Jacoby Brissett. That's what they got to do every time. They did it last week too. Yep. And they came all the way back to take the lead, 28-27. Now they did lose the game 30-28. What's his name? Legatron. Zerline kicked the game winner, 50-yarder. But I mean, watching what's his name, Saleh. Robert Saleh was just like his face on the sideline. They were just giving up everything to Jacoby Brissett, but. The Washington did come in. That was kind of a miraculous cover in the end.
It was. Well, you live and die by the sword.
Now, did you still stick with Dallas plus the 1 in the contest?
Yeah, they should have won.
I know they should have won. I was watching.
They held Miami to 1 touchdown. Miami had no business playing that game.
They played really good, but unfortunately they lost it at the buzzer. I think they couldn't get off the field in that last drive. They had 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Get a stop, you win. Couldn't do it. Tua just dink, and they got it down there. Got the game winner. So good so you win. It was a win-win situation.
It was a win-win. I think Tyrod Smith, if he plays in that game, I think the game looks a little bit different.
Yeah, Tyrod Smith is key to their handicap. He's still not practicing and put on the injury report. How about this one? The Patriots. This was
fun. This
was obviously the issue. The funny thing about this story is that Patriots ended up winning this game 26-23, but more importantly was my father, who's now a Broncos fan.
Okay.
Don't lose your allegiances, people. Stick to your teams.
Right.
My dad moved to Colorado many years ago. Now he's a Broncos fan. It's on Christmas Eve. I'm singing songs.
Yeah.
We're telling tales. We're having a good time. My dad won't stop texting about the game. I'm in a group text with like 5 other people from Denver, and he's like, "They look like crap." Da, 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 da. And then when they took the lead, I'm like, "It'll be okay." And then they come back in tie, and then they lose.
Yep.
There were still texts going on Christmas morning. I'm like, Dad, give it up. The game's over.
The fun part about this game too is I talked Caesar to taking the over before it was.
Oh, did
yeah. Oh, and we were at the bar watching it for a little bit. It was 7-3 at halftime, and then we left. I returned to said bar, and then I watched the madness ensue in the third quarter. I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna hit the over!" Yeah, so. No, that was a fun game. I had a lot of fun watching this game. It was a nice roller coaster of emotions for sure. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, arguably the most fun bet of the year.
That was a good bet.
Yeah.
This one, I know they're not in order of the games, but I just put the extra because Cleveland was one of the top 5 picks that we didn't pick, but I'll put this one. So Cleveland, they did win the game. Joe Flacco goes for 300 yards again, 3 straight weeks, 3 more touchdowns, 36-22 win. They're 10-5. They're basically in the playoffs, so good for Joe Flacco. Happy. I think he should be comeback player of the year. I know DeMar Hamlin is a heavy favorite because he did play a couple of plays in a game.
He's the PP now.
What's that?
He's the PP now. He's the personal protector.
Oh, is
he?
Yeah. Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah. And look, it's amazing. He has a total great story. But in terms of performance on the field, I mean, Joe Flacco has just been incredible. The guy was on the couch like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they covered the 2.5. But more importantly, the Ravens, which was, I know, in your picks.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked it too. It was one of the top 5 picks. The Ravens, plus the 5 or 5.5, whatever number, they killed them. They just destroyed the 49ers, 33-19. The game really wasn't close. They cut it at one point. I think that was in the second quarter or maybe early third quarter.
The closest it was 2-0, I think.
Really? Oh, 5-0. They were 5-0.
5-0. That's right. Yeah.
But I thought they got it within like 3 points or something. And then, they couldn't stop Lamar. The defense was all over. Purdy threw 4 interceptions. So please, God, don't talk to me about the MVP anymore, Brock Purdy. And it's funny because the guys that I listen to on VSiN are so adamant about him, and now they kind of shut up this week. But I'm like, I'm not, whatever. They said, what I don't know if you heard this, the Ravens were like, we knew exactly what he was going to do. They were all over him every time. And so they were there, and they made some amazing plays, though. I mean, some tip balls and stuff. But in the end, good for the Ravens and good for you in the cover, man.
Kyle Hamilton's really good. He is 6'4", by the way.
As a corner.
He plays safety.
Safety? Wow.
I mean, he is ginormous. I mean, as a big man to be playing safety back there. So
gotta have those tall guys.
I always forget how big he is. It's just I couldn't imagine just playing wide receiver and that guy's back there working.
Well, yeah, it's that, and he takes away your tight ends too, going deeper routes.
And he plays in the run game too, and he's just all of it. Hopefully he's good to go this week against Miami. We'll see.
So now we've got in week 17 a lot of stuff's going on. Coop, you've already mentioned Russell Wilson getting benched. You got Jared Stidham in, whatever. That's a weird situation. But the same is true for the Giants. The Giants have now finally going to Tyrod Taylor over, our guy Tommy DeVito. Yeah. And that makes him competitive. That line's dropped right away, and he also, played pretty well when he won the game.
Arguably the best backup in the league.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think so.
Well, maybe Jake Browning.
Minshew,
Jake Browning.
There's a few guys.
Jacoby Brissett.
Joe Flacco. Good job. Joe Flacco. He's the fourth stringer, but the Commander.
He's the what?
He was the fourth string guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the fourth swinger. That's what I thought you said in there in the beginning.
There's nothing wrong with the fourth swinger.
Right.
We're free swingers.
Well, the cleanup swinger. That's yeah.
So the Commanders, like you said, Jacoby Brissett is starting over Sam Howell. Trevor Lawrence, his AC joint, he's really been banged up. Yeah. And it's almost like, and it's tough. They're in a must-win game. I understand why they're playing him, but he can barely, now it's his shoulder. He had the ankle. I don't know. CJ Beathard, give him a chance. Right now, I think they're kind of playing a cat and mouse game, so they don't know who's starting, but he's kind of out there. The Vikings, we talked about Jaron Hall starting, which is weird, but that's fine. He's better than Nick Mullen, I guess. He won't turn the ball over, but he's just going to run the ball. But more importantly, TJ Hawkinson, he's out for the year, the rest of the season, which really hurts that middle of the field attack.
That's tough.
And then Amari Cooper, which I don't know if he's actually playing tonight. He had a heel injury. He didn't practice yesterday. He'll probably go, but he might be not as effective as he was last week. I mean, he ran too much last week.
Yeah, he's falling so hard.
I listed that the Packers still have a zillion skilled players injured, but they still put up a ton of points on that Carolina defense last week. At least Jones is healthy. It looks like C.J. Stroud is probably going to play. He was limited. The line is moving his way, and you're playing him in your matchup. And then lastly, I think that Mason Rudolph is going to start. He probably should start, but there's been a notion that Pickett is in limited practice too. So you got to pay attention
on Tuesday that Rudolph was going to play.
Official?
I think it was.
Okay,
yeah, I think they said he's earned the start or whatever.
Of course he did. He played great. He put up more yards.
Amari Cooper is out, by the way.
Amari Cooper's out. There you go. Sorry, everybody who rode to the finals and you have Amari Cooper in your lineup. Pull him out right now. Well, let's go over the lines now, Coop. We've got tonight the Jets at Cleveland. It's been kind of going between 7 and 7.5. In the contest, it's 7.5 for Circa, which is interesting, but the market is 7 right now. 34-point total. We just talked about the Amari Cooper news. Does that change your tune? You want the Jets to win, you said, because your brother-in-law, future brother-in-law,
yeah, he's.
But do you?
Big
let's talk about the cash now, not about the engines. Do you like Cleveland in this game, or you like the Jets?
Man, that's tough. If I'm gonna pick the number, I like the Jets. But if I'm gonna pick a team to win, I would take the Browns. I would still take Flacco. He's obviously still the best quarterback on the field. I just think 7 is too many.
Okay.
David Njoku is going to be the difference tonight. He's going to be the one with Amari Cooper out. He's going to be the one that's probably going to be the go-to guy, if you will. So if you're playing fantasy, definitely get that man in your lineup for sure. Yeah, but no, I hate this number at 7.
You hate it? Well, be curious to see if the number with him out has dropped. Let's just take a look.
Well, even with Amari Cooper in there, it'd still be tough. I'm going to say he's still going to draw Sauce Gardner. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I hear what you're saying. Look, The Browns have played really well of late. Maybe they will stub their toe at some point. The Jets actually scored some points last week, which was shocking. I don't think that's going to happen. I just trust the Cleveland defense here. That's my thing. As you know, they're much better at home.
At home, yeah.
So I would lay those points with Cleveland if you have to bet this one tonight. It was in my top 5, but who knows if we're gonna. Can we get that in before kickoff here? So the next one, we have only one game on Saturday. It's kind of a marquee game. It's in a 7:15 time slot on Central Time. Detroit at Dallas. Dallas is a 5.5 point favorite at home, 53.5 point total. And I know we're going to differ on this from your picks. I can see this. So look, Dallas obviously lost 2 games in a row, right? We know that they are not great on the road. They played good enough to win last week, but they're awesome at home. So why does that change for me? To me, it doesn't change. As good as Detroit's been, they've locked up their division. They still are playing for the 1 seed, and maybe their defense can step up. But I don't like Jared Goff under pressure, so I will lay the points here at 5.5 with Dallas.
I see, and I like the run game that Detroit brings in.
Yeah, sure.
We've seen the last couple weeks that a good run game could neutralize, kind of be the Achilles heel of the Dallas defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing too is Detroit has an identity as a football team, to where I feel that Dallas is starting to struggle with their identity. There's a lot of scrutiny under Mike McCarthy now. Some people, myself included, think that he got rid of Kellen Moore just because he felt threatened by him, that he wasn't going to perform well, that maybe Jerry would can Mike McCarthy and just hire Kellen Moore.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's really showing. I think it's really coming to life the last couple weeks. But yeah, I like Detroit. I like their momentum. Like I said, I like the fact they have the run game that can control the offensive line and the defensive line of the Cowboys. I think keep Goff, upright enough. They may not win the game, but I think 5.5 is too many. I think Detroit's a good matchup for Dallas. I think they have enough players to keep them, on their toes.
Okay, we'll see. We can be opposite on this. I'm not going to line up against Dallas at home. I just can't do it.
That's your team. You got to make sure.
I have my Cowboys outfit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I should get you a hat. Blue here. Oh my God.
So let's go with now. Here's a little bit of a weird scheduling spot. They have. And I know it's New Year's Eve, not Christmas Eve anymore. Sorry, buddy. But there's 10 games in the early window on Sunday.
Nice.
I get it. They want everybody to go home and have a good time. So the first one is like a huge marquee game. We talked about your Fins are going to Baltimore. Right now, Baltimore's laying 3.5 at home, 47.5 point total. This originally came out at 4 for Baltimore and has already come down a little bit. Hasn't crossed even to 3, which I think it may go that way for Miami. And I don't know. We know Miami doesn't play good against great teams usually, but this was a huge spot for Baltimore. They played amazing. You got to see a letdown here, dude. I just can't back them. So I like Miami plus the 3.5. I'm on your Fins this week.
Oh, are you really?
Fins up.
Okay. The biggest problem I think that we're going to have is stopping the run.
Sure.
The Dolphins had that amazing.
It's actually 3 right here in the market, everybody.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
So everybody is jumping on the Fins. I like Baltimore. I like their ability to control the line of scrimmage. I think is going to be much better than Miami's ability to protect Tua. Last week. And I don't see how they're going to be able to keep them on their toes enough to throw off that pass rush of Baltimore.
Okay.
So Baltimore being at home is also going to be a big advantage.
They're really good at home.
They're good at home. The weather is probably not going to be that great.
Well, the Rams did score 33 on them.
That is true. They did score 30. I don't know. Maybe the motion might do something where you might have a chance. I don't see it. Of course, I'm trying to be a natural pessimist.
Well, and I will say the Fins. You look at the Fins injury report. There were like 7 guys limited. I mean, it's ridiculous. These injury reports at the end of the year are really not valuable.
Yeah.
Everybody's either limited DNP. Who's playing? So. Achane, is he going to play? Is Mostert going to play? And it's like I don't know who's playing for the offense, but I hear what you're saying. I just think it's a natural letdown spot. So it's more of a, many years.
So you're saying Miami's going to win the football game?
No, not necessarily. I don't think I had them win the football game in my article.
I was going to say they'd be the number 1 seed they'd be playing for next season.
I know. I agree. 3.5 though. That's the hook.
You like that hook? Yeah. Okay.
It's 3 right now in the market. So. Let me see what it is in Circa because they did just come out with the lines. They probably put it at 3 because they don't like me. Let's see, Baltimore. Yeah, it's 3. So it is 3. It dropped from 3. Those 3.5s got scooped up as they should.
They should.
So I guess I should put it to 3. I still think it does favor. I mean, 3 is a perfect. It's a total push number. I think it's going to be a good football game. So I still would lean to Miami. If they get the hook, you got to take the hook. So next game is New England at Buffalo. Buffalo's a 13-point favorite at home, 40.5-point total. We've discussed this before. Big lines with short totals is usually to the dog, but no way. Buffalo's going to lay waste to this team. They lost to them last time, obviously somehow with Mac Jones. Buffalo they didn't play well in against the Chargers, but I think this is the one they're going to come and they're just going to destroy and do what they do against the Patriots. And maybe Zappy will do something. We'll see. I mean, he played good last week, but I don't like this spot for New England. I love it for for Buffalo. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a contest pick. I just like 13 with Buffalo.
Buffalo's gonna be arriving, that's for sure.
They're arriving all over the Patriots.
I see, and I like the Patriots here. I think 13 is way too big. I think first of all, Bill is coaching for the wins to get his record.
Sure is.
And I think they match up well with Buffalo, to be honest with you, just from a coaching standpoint or personnel standpoint. So I'm with you. I think Buffalo's going to win the game because they have to, but
they will.
No, I think 13 is too many. They play this team well. They match up against them well. Bailey Zappi is probably better than Mac Jones from what we've seen so far, and I just think it's too many. I'm taking the trend of the road divisional dog of 7 points or more. You get on the dog,
and they win.
And I don't care if they win. They just got to keep within 12.
I know. No, I mean heavy numbers are not great. Let me make sure I didn't put that in the top 5. But anyway, I don't think so. Did I? Was that crazy?
Oh yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Oh, I did. Minus 12.
Did. Yeah, you did
13 now.
Yeah, you got to
13 now.
See, you jumped on Buffalo too late. You got to get on one earlier.
Well, those are the contest lines, so I just put the contest lines. All right, so Atlanta at Chicago. The Bears are a 3-point favorite. This is weird. 2 weeks in a row favored. 38-point total. Metrics say these teams are actually pretty even, and Atlanta might be slightly better, which I don't believe. I don't see that on the field. So I do like the Bears in this one, minus 3. I think that what are the Bears good at? Stopping the run.
Right.
What can Atlanta do? Run the ball. Not in this game. You're not going to run the ball. Sorry, Taylor Heineke. You're going to go to the wind in Chicago. You're going to be in trouble. I think the Bears are going to win another one, and they're going to cover this number. You with Atlanta now?
I hate this pick. I just think it's a push. I think it's a push waiting to happen. That's why.
You can do the stay away, the no mas.
Yeah, I mean, I've honestly, by the pick aside, I think I take Atlanta. I think the Arthur Smith is kind of coaching for his job, I believe.
Of course he is. And they have to win the next 2 games to have a chance in the playoffs. If he doesn't make the playoffs, he's out.
Yeah. So I think out of pure necessity, they'll figure something out. They'll get, I think if they get Tyler Heineke on the move and actually rolling out and getting some of his legs incorporated, they'll have a chance. But to your point, that Bears run defense, they've been good. They've been real good. Yeah, they've been really good.
And Justin Fields plays better at home. I don't know what it is with him. He doesn't turn the ball over as much, I guess.
Right here.
And he likes to run around. So I don't know. They played. Look, Atlanta did what they needed to do last week. They bounced back and won big, and that was also one of the top picks that I did like. Not in my top 5, but good for them. But okay, how about Tennessee at Houston? This is up to 5 or 5.5 now, because they're anticipating Stroud actually playing in this game. Oh no, it's down to 4. So here's the thing about these lines, man. They're changing, ever changing. So maybe he didn't practice today or something. That's the reason why this is a total stay away game, 43-point total. It's Tennessee or pass for me. I know Tennessee got the big win last week, right? They kind of surprised some people.
No, they lost to Seattle last week.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They lost by 3.
They controlled the whole game and lost.
That's right. Right. My bad. Seattle actually covered that game, which was a weird one. But in this one, I don't know. 4 points, Mike Vrabel. I probably lean to Tennessee, but I don't like this game at all. And I need to know if Stroud's playing or not, because I don't like the way Houston's played without him.
Yeah, great color matchup, by the way, Seattle and Tennessee. That was a fun one. But no, I'm actually opposite. I like Houston this week. I think even if I'm hoping we get some more Davis Mills. There was a Davis Mills sighting last Houston game, so he had a couple touchdowns there at the end. Obviously, it didn't matter, but he's still got a really long neck, so he's still out there and kicking. It's always good to see him. But no, I like Houston this week. I think that they obviously have to win to stay in the hunt for the playoffs. And Jacksonville is trending in the wrong direction. So somebody has to win its division.
Okay, yes.
And
you think it'll be Houston? It could be.
And I think it could be Houston. So I think they have the momentum going in their favor, if that makes sense. So they're getting Nico Collins back. They should be hopefully getting CJ Stroud back. But regardless, I think they can still beat Tennessee even with a backup.
Okay, and cover the 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling you, stay away from this one. All right, so now speaking of the AFC South, you've got the Raiders are going to the Colts in this one. The Raiders are, the Colts are 3.5-point favorite at home, 43.5-point total. Man, I mean, the Colts, they've had golden opportunities. They could have been in the lead of the division if they kept, closing these games. They're not doing a very good job right now. The Raiders are coming off this huge emotional win. So this is a letdown spot for me, another letdown spot for the Raiders. It doesn't mean that they won't play decent. But man, that hook, dude, I hate the friggin' hook. So I would lean to the Colts. I will not take this in the contest, but I have to pick it for my contest. And I don't like, whatever, man.
I love Indy.
You love Indy?
I love Indy. Yeah, they're going across the country at 1:00 off the biggest win of their season.
I agree. It's a
they
letdown
didn't
spot.
complete a pass after the second quarter.
I know this.
Or after the first quarter, forgive me. Yeah. Anyway, no way.
I mean, the coach was crying. I mean, I like him. He was crying.
Hopefully they do hire him. Antonio Pierce at the end of the season. I do think he'd be a good culture fit for them.
Oh, yeah.
They played the exact game that he said they were going to play against the Chiefs to be physical and everything. Yeah. So I think he's a good culture fit. I just like Indy here.
Yeah.
I like the run game matchup. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a big day.
There you go.
Mo Alley Cox is probably going to score a touchdown if you're taking a touchdown score pop. That's who I like. So, I love Indy here. You could tease it all the way up to 6.5 if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's into your best spot. All right, so Carolina at Jacksonville. This is another one. Who's going to play? Is it going to be C.J. Beathard or not? But
who's your quarterback?
Yeah, I know. I think I'm out in the fantasy championship with hoping that I can get somebody here. But Jacksonville is a 6-point favorite at home, 38-point total. It's a must-win game
for Carolina.
Right. It doesn't matter if Carolina wins. They have no picks. But the Jags, they got to win. 6 points. Damn, they're terrible at home. This team can't win. These guys.
Which home? They have 2 homes. That's the thing.
Well, we know they're at home in London. They're great. The London Jaguars are amazing. No, not in Jacksonville. So I can't back the Jags, but Carolina gives me heartburn. I'm glad that they covered last week against the Pack.
So maybe they should, from now on, the Jacksonville should play at the 1:00, like the London slot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is it, 6-hour difference? So they should
play like 5 a.m.
Yeah, just play at 5 a.m. Yeah,
7 in the morning.
That way they're playing London time with what they're used to, because apparently that's got the key to this team or something. So
I just don't like their defense too. Although look, Bryce Young finally had a good game against the Packers defense. I don't know how that
everybody has a good game against Packers
lately.
Defense.
Apparently they stink now, but Jacksonville's defense isn't very good either.
They're more like Swiss cheese. You know what I'm saying?
We love those.
A lot of holes in them.
That's right.
No, I'm with I think 6 is the perfect number.
Yeah, it's a good number.
I hate it. I think 6 is the number. If you'd put a gun to my head, I'd have to take Jacksonville. Hopefully the Trevor Lawrence plays. If Trevor Lawrence plays, this is probably a 10-point game.
Yeah, it'll probably go up.
And Travis Etienne should have a big day on Sunday as well, because again, it's more efficient to run the ball on the Panthers every down than it is to pass the ball every down against the Panthers. So
that's why. Thank you, Aaron Jones. My team's eliminated, and you have a great game.
Yeah,
but it's 6.5. I mean, it's still. What is the contest line?
We're gonna play Travis Etienne against the Carolina defense this week in fantasy.
Oh yeah, you absolutely should.
If you're playing DFS out there.
Yeah. I don't love it, but again, you got to wait on the Lawrence news for me in this one. How about this game? The Rams at the Giants. This game has gone yo-yoed back and forth. It was I think it was 6 or something when it opened, down to like 4.5 yesterday, now up to 5.5 for the Rams on the road. 44.5-point total. It's all because Tyrod Taylor, who makes them a professional football team. I mean, no offense to Tommy DeVito. You were in Club Dub. I don't know where you are right now. Maybe busting tables or something. But now you've got. The Rams are playing great. They're playing awesome. The problem is it's a pretty big spread on the road, and I don't love it. So, the money is all on the Giants, which tells me that you should bet the Rams. And I originally loved the Rams, but I didn't get it on it at the 4.5, and this 5.5 makes me a little squeamish. So it's Rams or pass, but I don't love it.
No, I like the Rams. The quarterback mismatch, even though Tyrod Taylor is better. Also, the run game, like Kyron Williams, he's been really good whenever he's not, hurt or been on the IR this year. And the Rams have 3 good wide receivers. They have, no one knew that Puka Nacua was going to be the best rookie wide receiver.
Rookie of the year?
Yeah, probably. You would think.
Well,
right?
CJ Stroud he's like in the clubhouse favorite, but he hasn't played for 3 weeks. And Puka still, he's actually ahead of like Randy Moss in yards for a rookie wide receiver, and he's like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, anyway. It's just ridiculous. So. No, I like the Rams. I think they're getting they're trending in the right direction at the right time of the year. So
Yeah.
McVay, there's a coaching mismatch here, in my opinion.
Well, Dable's a good coach.
Dable's a good coach, but he's more of the offensive side.
Yeah.
They're, I think, from that mismatch.
Well, they can
like
beat the blitz, and that's the thing. What's his name? Martindale loves the blitz for the Giants, and that could play right into Stafford's hands. I hope so. Stafford's starting in my league. I got to make it happen. So we like Rams in that one. So how about Arizona at Philly? Again, heavy favorite for Philly, 10.5 points, 48-point total. Philly just can't hold leads, bro. It kills me. It kills me with this team. I really like. I'm kind of like full disclosure, my company loves the Eagles, as I think I've told you many times. They get on my last nerves, but now I'm kind of rooting for Philly. They're almost like the underdog, even though they're still could be the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I just don't think they can cover this number. 10.5. I don't. Their defense is bad. It's bad. I can't see it. So I will. If I had to pick a side, it's not in my top 5. I would take Arizona plus the points, even though it's a 48-point total. It's a pretty high total, but that's because Philly can't stop anybody.
See, and I think I would take Philly here just solely based on the coaching mismatch.
Okay.
I think the coaching staff of Philly is much better, much more experienced than Arizona for sure. Obviously, Kyler Murray being back, the mobility of him might give the Eagles some trouble.
Sure.
So I guess I do agree with you, I guess, from that perspective. But the Philly played really well against the Giants. I mean, they didn't play.
They just didn't stop it.
Yeah, they couldn't, like you, to your point, they couldn't end the game. They couldn't get that stop at the end of the game.
Right.
What you were talking about with Dallas too. So. But Tyrod Taylor obviously is a little better than Tommy DeVito. But yeah. I just think Philly's got to get right at some point. So
I thought so too.
Their line play is going to take this game over. I mean, in theory, 10.5 is the perfect number because 9 it's Philly and 11 it's Arizona. I hate this one too, but I'm going to take Philly. Yeah,
okay.
I'll write with a big favorite. Why not?
All right, why not?
Hold my nose. Yeah.
Okay, so how about this one? Actually, it's not for the NFC South officially, but it's pretty much it can be determined. If Tampa wins this game, they're playing at home against New Orleans. They're 2.5-point favorites, 42.5-point total. If Tampa wins, they win the division. I think that's it, right? What about basically? I think it's it, right? Because aren't they? They're 8-7, maybe 9-7. I guess Atlanta could technically, well, whatever. It's a big game and determine it. It would eliminate New Orleans basically because they're 7-8. So, 2.5-point total. Tons of money came in on New Orleans in this one. It was at 3 originally, got beat back to 2.5. So, but Tampa's offense is playing great. Can you go against Baker Mayfield in this squad at this point? Look, I thought the Saints were going to do it last week, and I was dead wrong, and they couldn't do it against a good offense. I don't think they can do it this week either, so I'd lay the points with Tampa.
No, I'm with you. I think Baker's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. They're
Fuego.
Again, one of those teams that's just trending in the right direction at the right time. And I think Baker's playing for a little bit of long-term deal here. I mean, after this, if he wins this game, I would be down to sign him for 3 or 4 years if I'm Tampa.
Comeback player of the year?
Yeah. All right, honestly. So, but no, I'm with you. And I think Tampa's defense is getting better. They're starting to get a little bit healthier. And they're pretty familiar, obviously, with New Orleans. So I expect this to be a low-scoring game, but I would expect Tampa to come out.
Yeah, with that, when it moved from 3, it was like 3.5 to 3, and then to 2.5. You got to take Tampa now. Yeah. I mean, it's a divisional game inside the 3. So, all right, how about San Francisco, Washington? 13-point favorites for San Francisco on the road, 49.5-point total. You do have Jacoby Brissett, who's been hot late, both in the Rams game and last week, but San Francisco is going to be angry. It's going to be bad.
Yeah,
they're going to destroy this team.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I put it as a contest pick, but if Action wants to take a big favorite, I would take this one because even though it's across the country, San Francisco got embarrassed. They're going to come out and light them up.
McCaffrey might have 3 or 4 touchdowns this game, which is really sad because I thought in the beginning of that game they weren't giving the ball to Christian McCaffrey at all. They just kept throwing it against Baltimore. I'm like, why are they? And then when they did, they had like 9 carries for like 80 yards at halftime.
He scored a touchdown there.
So what the hell are we doing here? Again, another team was just ignorant to run the ball. Anyway, no, I'm with you. I like San Fran. They need to give the ball to their MVP candidate, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
they need to let him go off. So, I'm with you. I'd be willing to give up the points and hold my nose on this one as well.
Yeah, and Jacoby's a little bit mobile, but it wasn't like they didn't get pressure on Lamar. It's just they couldn't get him to the ground. The guy was too elusive. It's going to be a rough day for Jacoby Brissett. Then what happens is you got 3 late games in this one. You got Pittsburgh at Seattle. Seattle's a 3.5-point favorite at home, 41-point total. I don't know, man. Seattle they got the win. I was incorrect about the Titans there. They did get the win, so they've got 2 in a row. So they're back on the positive side. I still don't trust this defense, unfortunately. And the offense is pretty good. And I don't know. Geno was okay last week. He wasn't great. Pittsburgh lit the world on fire. So it would tell you to take Seattle, but this 3.5 is no good. I like Pittsburgh plus the points here.
I love Seattle this week.
For sure.
The only team that Pittsburgh can beat in the last 4 weeks is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So, and I think Seattle's offensive line can handle whatever pressure that Pittsburgh can generate with T.J. Watt and company. So they can also run the ball, which I think will help neutralize that pass rush as well. And basically, the Seahawks are in the last playoff spot, I think, right now as it stands in the NFC. So if they keep winning, they're in. But I like the matchup here. Pittsburgh going across the country, which usually doesn't make that big of a difference going east to west. But Seattle's hard place to play in.
Sea Chickens?
Yeah, the Sea Chickens are going to be flocking, I think.
I like this game over, though. 41-point total.
I got to be flocking kidding me. You're going with the over?
Yes.
Okay.
These defenses aren't that good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Seattle's defense isn't good. And Pittsburgh, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. They give up
fair.
A lot of points to everybody. Last week was kind of an exception, but that's only because they got up so quickly on them. So I like the over. Okay, so Cincinnati at Kansas City. This should have been a marquee game, Burrow versus Mahomes. Kansas City is a 7-point favorite at home, 44-point total. Look, we talked about this last week, I think, maybe a week off. Get right game for the Chiefs? I don't know. Theoretically, yes. I think the Cincinnati defense is no good. But 7 points? God, heartburn. So I would lean to Kansas City. They're not in my top 5. I think they're going to play way better after last week's matchup. Obviously, you're seeing, what's his name, Kelsey. You should have put him in the shed. Kelsey throwing his helmet on the sideline like an idiot with Taylor Swift looking on. Come on, be better. But I don't know. As good as Cincinnati's played on offense, I think Kansas City's defense is still good, as we saw. And so I would lay the points here if I had to.
Yeah, this one's tough. I hate that number. I'm going to be honest.
I think 6.5?
I think that number, if I can get 6.5, I take the Chiefs. But if I can get 7 to 7.5, I'm taking the Bengals. Okay. God, you can't give points. You can't give a touchdown to that team. They don't have any wide receivers. They're so bad at wide receiver. How me and you might be able to make their team.
I told you I was trying out. They were having to go, but I had the Theragun. The Theragun's over here. Warm me up.
Has Pacheco cleared concussion protocol either?
Did he have another concussion?
Well, he left that game.
He
didn't come back in. So I don't know if he's cleared. If Pacheco is going to play, then maybe I could see him getting behind the Chiefs. But if Pacheco is not in there, I wouldn't back this team. I would back Cincinnati. I think they can control the line of scrimmage enough to get by. They probably won't win the football game. Don't get me wrong. But hell, we said that last week.
7 points.
But this is definitely a 5 or 4 point game in my opinion. Mm-hmm. If Pacheco plays, then fine. I'll hold my nose. But if I think maybe the Chiefs could run the ball consistently if he plays, but if he doesn't play, then they're not going to run the ball. They're not going to lean on the big guys. So
yeah, it's true.
I think it just depends from that aspect. To be honest with you, that's how I feel about it.
Let's see. I don't know. It doesn't have to see. Isaiah Pacheco did not practice on Wednesday.
Okay,
that's all it says.
So he's questionable.
Thursday. He's questionable.
So Pacheco goes. I'll ride with the Chiefs, but Pacheco doesn't go up with the Bengals.
Okay.
Yep.
Check your reports. We got the Chargers at Denver. Denver, obviously, with the switch to Stidham. 3.5 point favorites at home. This was up to 5.5, I think, when Russell was playing. 37.5 point total. So definitely check this line because it's moving back and forth. I guess it's it's not a dead. We said it's not a dead kitten bounce. That's an offensive coordinator. So what's when they bench the starting quarterback that's better than the other one? What are we going to call that?
Lighten a spark.
Lighten a spark?
Yeah.
Do you think that's
what Sean Payton called it today.
Spark it.
He said they're going to Jared Stidham for a spark.
He had 2 good games as the Raiders quarterback last year, and obviously the Chargers don't care about the game.
Remember went to school?
Still,
yeah,
Auburn.
Oh, there you go. See, I had to give you a softball because last couple you kind of stumbled on.
I mean, you're throwing me whatever records from the 90s, man. I mean, I should have got that one. But
which one of us is 50 again?
It's me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Which one watches professional football?
Okay.
Christ, come on. All right. So anyway,
they're just kids, okay? You only appreciate them when they make money. I appreciate them as just athletes, because they play for the love of the game.
I can't determine whether Denver whether this is a good or a bad move. I don't know if the whole locker room was against Russell or not. I can't really tell. I just think that Sean Payton's an a-hole, and so I think it could be bad for them. Actually, this move.
Really?
In the end, I I can't lay 3.5 with this team. Their defense sucks, and I know the Chargers are maligned and they stink. They've got a terrible quarterback in there. Forget it. I'm not laying this number with Denver. So if I have to do a stay away game of the week, that's what I do. Otherwise, I'd play the Chargers.
I would lay the number with Denver.
Yeah, again, huh?
Sean Payton.
Well, you did Patriots.
Sean Payton against
who cares?
Who?
The backup dead cat bounce guy.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. He doesn't even know who the head coach is. So I think it's a mismatch. Sean Payton's going to figure out a way. And plus, now he has to start figuring out to show the promise of the years to come. He's got to figure it out at least for the next two.
Jared Stidham isn't the answer though.
But he's got to figure it out. So I think this is definitely a spot where he's going to. This is going to be a Sean Payton game.
He's going to do trick plays. He's going to do onside kicks for the kick. I know, but I don't think it matters. I don't think the team's that good. Their offense is decent.
I'll call Papa Wags and we'll get him.
Call Papa Wags. He's all over Denver. I'm sure he loves him
because he knows better this game.
All right, let's go. The last game is Sunday night football. There's no Monday night this week. Mm-hmm. You've got Green Bay against Minnesota. We talked about the Jaron Hall starting. Just got announced a few hours ago. This line dropped. It was 2 points for Minnesota at home all week, and then now it's down to 0.5 point. I wouldn't be surprised if the Green Bay goes off as the favorite at some point. So 43.5 point total. Horrible. Both teams got to win to stay relevant, and I really liked Minnesota going into the game even with Nick Mullen backing up. I don't know if I can do Hall though. I can't trust that guy. So I guess it's Green Bay or pass for this. This would be I don't want to watch this game. It's gonna be ugly.
I want to watch it because I want to see how long of a leash he's going to have.
Why couldn't they just play Mullen then? And then if he sucks,
he had 4 interceptions.
So what?
I feel like to keep the team. I feel like to keep
You thought it was the team. Well, I mean, I know Jefferson was pissed. Obviously, he was mad. But the reason why he threw the last interception was he threw it to Jefferson.
I like the over.
I do too.
I like the over a lot.
Minnesota's an over team now.
I like the over a lot. I'm staying away. I don't know. It's a pick 'em, so whatever. I mean, I can see either way. I mean, I can see Minnesota. Ty Chandler's been playing well. They can control
great.
They can run the ball and help out their young quarterback.
Is terrible,
yeah.
Right?
So, gag. I don't know. This is awful. It's going to be like a 30-27 game.
Look, I mean, Flores has done a really good job defensively. I was a little disappointed with what happened last week, but of course, then again, Mullen kept giving the ball back if they couldn't keep it. But they weren't stopping.
The time of possession was I'm going to say time of possession was so in favor of Detroit. Any defense would have not played well.
Aaron Jones game again?
Maybe.
He's only had 2 all year. One was week 1 and one was last week. So.
Minnesota, final answer.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so here's my top 5. Again, there's no game Monday night, New Year's Day. Oh boy, we got to get this podcast done. So we've got Buffalo minus the 13. I like them in that one to destroy the Patriots. I know we're against each other there. I like Cleveland tonight minus the 7. Dallas minus 5.5 against Detroit. The Bears minus 3 and Miami plus 3.5 in this one. What about you?
Yeah, for Beaver Nation this week, we're going to take Houston minus the 5. We're taking Tampa Bay minus the 2.5. We're riding with Seattle at minus 3.5, and we're going to take Detroit on Saturday plus 5.5.
Button heads on that one. We should watch that one.
Yeah, big David Montgomery game.
Yeah, it could be.
To you live.
Could be.
So we have Hamlin Saturday. So after Hamlin, we can get together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going ice skating. Ice skating on the ribbon with Sophia and her boyfriend. Met him yesterday too. He's a nice kid. And so we're hitting the ribbon from 5 to 7. But after that,
what time is the game?
7:15. It's an evening game.
I thought it was like 4:30. Okay, so that would work well then.
So you're not going to the Rizzo's thing? You're going to Hag and Jackie's?
No, I'm doing both.
You're doing both?
I have a ticket for both. Yeah. So I bought a
ticket for Jackie's?
No, for Rizzo's. No, I bought a ticket for Rizzo's, and I didn't realize that it had already filled. And we were at spur of the moment. I was, with Stephanie at Christmas. She's like, "What are you doing for New Year's?" And I didn't even
put it together.
Yeah, and then the other thing is too, Sunday morning I have to go to Lockport to bowl
you're bowling.
Yeah, so
you don't want to be hammered. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to Rizzo's for sure. I guess I could go to Jackie and Hags. They did invite me. I just
do a pregame there, and then
I didn't usually do both. I got to get my duds on. My mom got me a party shirt, but I don't think I'm gonna wear it for this one. I'm gonna wear it for my party. So
gotcha.
I am playing at Progression both on Saturday and Sunday. Luke is finally off the IR, so he's gonna play on Sunday. And then U.S. qualifier. Oh, that's U.S. qualifier.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then you also have Tuesday night bowling. Is this
we're coming back
the end of the quarter, or are you still?
No, we've got a couple more weeks. Unfortunately, I won't be there for the last week of the third or second quarter. I'll be in Columbus for work. I think it's like the 21st or 22nd. It's the week after we come back from Gulfport. So are we going to be doing this in Gulfport, by the way?
Well, first of all, I have to decide to go to Gulfport.
Oh,
I know I said yes on there, but I have not secured lodging and I've not bought a plane ticket. So
gotcha. Well, you have lodging. We have a whole big house.
I heard there's a couch for me, but more importantly, I have to decide if I can pull this off.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so far away from me. No, I shouldn't do it. I know people bought their tickets, but
yeah, we really would miss you.
If I go to Gulfport, we can do the podcast at Gulfport.
Yeah,
of course.
Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be a fun little like on the beach,
live from the beach.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm seeing this. I'm telling you, that's gonna be like playoff week too.
Oh yeah, that's the playoffs by then.
That'd be
It's usually the divisional round, I think. So.
What are we doing? Come on.
Okay. Don't put me on the spot. Don't put me on the spot. We don't even have listeners right now. Nobody's chiming in. I'm waiting for Stephanie to get in the chat and beat me up. Well, let me go through my process. I don't know yet.
No, I know.
I would like to know if I win my fantasy league, for example.
Okay.
In my fantasy league, that's 1,400 versus 600.
Nice.
That's the trip right there.
There it is.
Give me a chance.
Wow.
All right. Well, hey, follow us on Side Action Pod on Twitter and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Wegspool. At Wegspool on Twitter and on Instagram.
Yeah, and you can check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper. I'm Coop, by the way, and you can check me out on Twitter at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast, 1 year older, 1 year wiser. And come out and join us, by the way, for Wegsy Pooh's birthday. If those of you have.
Yeah, the millions of listeners are welcome to come to Four Shadows next week. We'll talk about that next week on the pod. But yeah, Rob, I know you're listening. We communicated today about the package.
I did buy your present today too, so you're gonna love it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Your presence was presence enough. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah.